and move forward and raise awareness, because there are more people out there that are going to be struggling with these same issues. There are more people fighting to get out and have their voices heard. And there are more families that are being ripped apart because our justice system doesn't always get it right. So I continue to talk and share, because I do hope that one day we will get it right. And I especially hope that in a few years we have a whole room full of women that we have brought home, because I know there are more of us. These women know there are more of us. Our cases are different, they're special, and we need more awareness so that we can reach out, tackle those issues, and bring them home.
My name is Michelle Murphy. I was convicted in 1994 for the murder of my 3-month-old son. I can so relate to Debra, because you don't get to grieve in there. You just can't. And you come home and you have to go through that process. But I spent 20 years to the day to get exonerated. And it's still a day-to-day battle. You relive it every day, especially the loss. I had a 2-year-old daughter as well, and I lost her to being adopted and come out as a grandma. My daughter was led to believe I was a monster for 20 years, so she wants nothing to do with me. Won't allow me into her life or my granddaughter's life. But I'm a survivor, and I have faith that she's going to come back around and allow me the privilege to be in her life. I got out and I strive to survive every day. I work, I live alone, I seclude myself. I find peace in seclusion. It's the only peace we can find, until you come and get people that understand you.
I'm Ginny Lefever. I'm the second woman, I believe, exonerated from the state of Ohio. I've been home just a little over 5 years. I spent 22 years in Ohio prisons for, as many of these women did, a crime that never happened. I was briefly married to an addict who overdosed 5 days before our divorce was going to be final. And the case is bizarre, but a lot of them are. And so I won't dwell on all of that, but since I've been home, I've managed, I was a registered nurse, finishing my bachelor's when I went into prison, and all the time I was there, that's all I, besides my kids, really thought about. And so it's been a struggle, and it's been really so many hoops to jump through, but I'm really happy and proud to say that I've managed to finally return to practice. And I'm in grad school now. I'm trying to be a family nurse practitioner in about a year. So please, just let me do a little plug and I'll pass the mic. But there is a talk tomorrow about exonerees who are trying to help fix the system, and I'd like to talk a little bit more about my graduate program then. So thank you all.
I'm Sabrina Butler from the state of Mississippi. I was sentenced to die by lethal injection March the 9th of 1990. My death date was July the 2nd. I was accused also of killing my son. And I was 17 and a half, 18 years old when this happened to me. When you are thrust into the police officers, when they talk to you, they have a way of getting you to confess to things that you didn't do. When my son died, They interrogated me for a long time. They interrogated me while I was in the hospital with him. They interrogated me when I went to the police office. And I just finally gave up, and I said, I just signed the papers. And that began the whirlwind of my conviction and arrest and sentence. They sentenced me to death row. Served 2 years, 9 months on death row. My case was overturned. I ended up getting 2 new attorneys, Clive Stafford Smith and Robert McDuff, who came in and found out my son had heart problems, kidney problems, and chronic bowel syndrome. And I do agree with Debra about feeling alone, feeling isolated, and I really do like being by myself. That's hard, you know, I talk to a lot of people, but it's hard when you are a parent and people look at you like, you know, that was your baby and you couldn't protect your own child, or how did you get in this situation? You would have never been charged in the first place. And so that is hard. I'm still in the same town. I'm currently looking for a job, and I think that it's not because my case has been expunged, but I think it's pretty much discrimination is what I feel like. Because I can't even get a job at Walmart because they said I'm ineligible for hire, whatever that means. And it's a struggle. Today I have 2 more children, my 29-year-old actually, and my 13-year-old and an 18-year-old. My 13-year-old daughter has the same disease that my son died from. Right now I'm trying to get him, my baby that died, moved from where he is because I didn't get a chance to go to the funeral or grieve because they buried him in the woods under a tree on a hill. So right now I'm in the process of trying to see if I could get the state to move him to a better place. So I do understand, and it's hard when guys are exonerated. I mean, guys are found innocent, guilty of crimes that they didn't commit. But it seems like it's harder because it's a double-edged sword with us, because, you know, it was my son. And I'm always having to deal with the fact that, you know, hey, that's the girl they said killed her baby, you know, and that's why I pretty much I like being by myself as well. Here's some story.
Okay, first I apologize, I lost my voice, so bear with me. Just trying to process everything I heard and identify. Okay. It's my first conference. I'm not completely exonerated yet. The appellate court in my state unanimously overturned my conviction in January, but not before I served 8.5 years at the WCCW Prison for Women in Washington. I've been out almost 2 years. My children were 9, 5, and 2. I was pregnant with my youngest during the trial. They're now 19, 15, and 12. They're here, probably upstairs in the pool. I've been blessed because I had my family that brought them to me during the incarceration, and I was able to stay connected to them. Coming to the conference, I'm hoping that it will help me find my place, because listening to everyone, I realize that I'm still not actually facing it. Because when I went in and did the time, I did the time. I invested myself in programs in the prison that I believed in, and I couldn't use those for a foundation for myself because it wasn't about me, it was about those programs. And I went through breast cancer during the latter part of my sentence, and the people who held my hand and held me up during that weren't innocent. And so those are still my family also, and I'm still involved in helping them and involved in those programs. But then when I got out, I threw myself into working, and the job that I have, I know that some people may know, but I don't talk about it. I can't talk about it because it's not professional. And so I guess in a way, sitting here, I realize that I don't have a community until I came here. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
So the question we want to address is, what are your challenges now and what do you need? It doesn't matter if you've been out for a month or for 20 years. There are still issues that we face, and I'd like everybody to share a little bit.
This is the question that I've never answered at all. And I had a terrible feeling I was going to have to answer it today. I believe that, I believed a lot of crap to get through this. I tell myself it was my mission in life to go there. I could fix things. I got other women out of prison. I changed laws. I just ran around in circles like a demented squirrel. And once I got out, I did the same thing. I formed an organization to help the women I left behind. I worked to end the death penalty. I work mostly to get lifers out of prison, to find lifers a place to be. Because when women kill, they kill for different reasons. And they are the ones that will hold your hand when you're dying. They're the ones that will be there for you when the administration turns their back on you. But the thing that I have to say is that you can never fix it. It is never going to be right. And that's the reason that we need to be so much more careful about what we do. Because every time we make this kind of a mistake, it's being kind to call it a mistake. In a lot of these cases, my own included, there was no mistake. It was intentional. They knew exactly what they were doing. They knew exactly what they were doing was wrong. But it can never be fixed. The hole in my soul will never heal, and neither will anyone else's.
Gloria's right about that. You stay really busy in prison. It's very, first it was helpful to be able to work on your own case and to do something to try to help your family, in my case, to get out. And she's also right that staying busy there and staying positive and constructive and being strong helps. But you tend to ignore or not even think about what you actually need or how it damages you, but you don't want to really say it's damaged because I'm just too strong for that. I'm not going to let anything, as Sonny said, take my spirit. But she's also right about you can't fix it. And that's probably the thing that I need. One is time. It would have been helpful to have had compensation because then I could even be busier and I could try to help more people and do more things, and I often wish I had the resources I had before this happened, and then I could be of some real value to trying to help fund things and help work on cases and all of that. But the other need is that sense of urgency, because before I didn't understand how bad things were in this criminal justice system. I assumed I grew up ingrained with the trust in the police. And also just in general, for my own life, I would have been mortified to have a parking ticket. So that still hurts that someone can do this to you. And so the point of all of that is that you have a sense of urgency about helping innocent people that you know are in prison, and you have a sense of urgency about trying to fix this somehow so that it won't happen to other people. And it's been 22 years since it happened to me, and it's still happening. In spite of all the good work that's being done, and in spite of all the people who are caring and really trying and doing all that they possibly can, and you still have these horrible cases, not just to women, but to men and to even children, and it's just there, and that keeps me awake at night. It makes me very sad and a little bit tormented that I can't fix it all. But it is, the hopeful part of that is that in coming to conferences like this, I see so much courage. And this courage comes from people who haven't had to go through this experience, and that's probably the best of all. You didn't have to be involved, but you are. And you're in a position to do things, and you do it. You don't walk away, you don't give up. And that's a tremendous hope to me. And in my case, I didn't lose my family. And so we're doing all we can, but it's the larger force of exonerees, of people like Zieva, who, it's more than research for her. It's a life mission for Zieva, and it's a human caring. And I just strongly believe, however naive it is, that somehow with enough voices and enough courage and enough work, we will make a difference, we will change it. And the other part of that is accountability. It bothers me that there's not more moral outrage about what happened in every case, because the pattern is there. It's like Prosecutor 101. And there is a pattern to that, and a systemic disease, and because my case was utterly fraudulent, and it took me a while to see that, because I couldn't imagine. And I don't have a percentage I can put on it, but a very large percentage of all the cases, someone in that system, someone who was involved in that, had reason to question or absolute knowledge that it was wrong. And this is what we have to fix, and I think it is fixable. So you're my hope. Law students are my hope. My grandson Asher is my hope. And just human goodness is my hope. And hopefully that will prevail. And we're going to do everything we can.
Just real quickly I just want to thank you to all the attorneys and the students and all the support staff that helped them, Zieva, the research. Without you, there would be even more people here. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I thank my attorney, Brad Patton, and like I said again before, I wasn't incarcerated, but it's really, really important to have your name cleared. And there's stories I might cry through all of them, but it's what we have in common is something was taken away from us that should not have happened in the first place.
I think that something that women share with male exonerees, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but two words come to mind: acknowledgement and empowerment. We need to be acknowledged as having suffered something. Like, this actually happened. Like, we're not making it up. Like, this really did happen. And I think that, and then empowerment. So, and both of that comes also from acknowledgement, because as soon as you recognize what the nuances of what every exoneree has gone through, suddenly you realize exactly what it is that they have it inside of them in order to have made it through. And that can then be translated into something that is important and useful and relatable. And as long as there's a problem of acknowledgement, I think that there's a problem of us kind of being still a little bit lost. And I think everyone can relate to that.